Hello. It is still the 2nd of July, 2021. And although the House Appropriations Committee has not issued a budget for the DOJ, the president has a proposed budget. And I looked it over, and this one is going to be with regards to the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Administration. And there is no funding for new agent positions. I think they're going to even lose a few agent positions through attrition. But there is funding for a program that suddenly came up around January 20th called Operation Engage. And it's not a law enforcement program, it's a prevention program. I've got a little video on there that the DEA made. I'm going to put this on, and then I'm going to talk about it. Okay.
It's who we love. And at a time when we have never seemed more divided, a common enemy is killing our loved ones. It doesn't care about our differences or disagreements, about red states, blue states, black lives, or white privilege. It's a threat to each and every child. It is addiction. But if we commit the time, the talent, and the money, we can protect our kids. Prevention worked for measles, malaria, and polio. Prevention worked to shrink our smoking habit. Prevention works. Life can be painful for our kids, especially in these times, but we can teach them resilience and how to make healthy choices. When we act early, we can prevent addiction. Support prevention efforts in your school and community. Start the conversation. Talking to your kids about drugs isn't easy, but we can help.
Operation Engage. Again, now DEA now has a new administrator, Miss Ann Milgram, which is kind of a DEA sounding name. I mean, grams, all that, Okay, well, she was a young lady. Everybody to me is young. She was sworn in a few days ago as the DEA Administrator, but apparently, I just went to the DEA website, and it's what do we do? And it shows, but right up there is education and prevention, which we never did that. When DEA was formed in 1973, the intent was that it was going to be law enforcement that fights international and interstate drug trafficking. No one else can do that. We don't do prevention or education. That's not to say those aren't good things to do. We just don't do that. McDonald's doesn't sell hot dogs. The local Chinese restaurant doesn't sell pizza. It just, certain things just don't go together. And the DEA and education and prevention, it's a very small agency. There aren't a lot of resources, and we can't shift what we've got into something that we don't do, and we don't do well, and that's just duplicating what everyone and their brother and sister is doing anyway. Now, how much does it cost to tell someone to stay off of drugs, or not to drink to excess, or not to smoke cigarettes? Well, it doesn't cost anything. Don't do any of those things. What did it cost me? Nothing. But your biggest and most effective people who are going to do that are going to be families, churches, to a much lesser extent schools, but families and churches. It's a moral issue. It's a moral issue. And our drug laws are based on the premise, the Judeo-Christian premise, that suicide is immoral, to the point where if I see my brother, or not even my brother, just someone, a stranger, but my brother, in a platonic sense, standing on a bridge who wants to jump off, it's my duty to try to talk him down, to try to go get him. That's what the drug laws are based on, because you have predatory organizations selling to weak people. Now, who are these weak people? These are the people who are addicted to drugs. What is happening to them? Well, they are dying of overdoses at an unprecedented rate. I was a DEA agent for 27 years, but I've been a Catholic deacon for the last 10 years, and I preached a number of funerals of people who died from drug overdoses. Now, it does beg the question, is law enforcement even the right answer to try to, is this even a worthy goal to try to stop people from getting a substance that they are determined to get, so that they don't kill themselves? I mean, should we be preventing people from killing each other and killing ourselves to prevent someone else from killing themselves? It's I don't know. That's a good good debate. But I think we have to decide one way or another as a country, you know. And I think it's going to affect you guys and girls very directly. So, I mean, there's basically two ways to go with this. Obviously, the one, just take the federal government out of prohibition completely. Let the companies sell heroin, cocaine in a highly regulated environment, like they're doing right now with marijuana in a lot of states, like they have done with alcohol and other things. And just let the chips fall where they may. I mean, people are going to die from it, but you know, I'm not going to die from it because I'm not going to use it. You know, I wouldn't shoot heroin if my life depended on it because I know what it does to you. I'm not going to use cocaine if my life depended on it because I know what it does to you. And plus, it's immoral. You know, but then the other side of me says, well, there's always those people who are deterred simply by the fact that it's illegal. And a lot of those, you know, one of those kids might have been, was me, you know. I never used drugs in high school. Drugs were everywhere in high school. LSD and marijuana mostly. This was the 70s, okay. No cocaine, no crack. Nobody touched heroin. That was an inner city drug. But LSD you could get pretty freely, and marijuana you could get pretty freely. But I didn't touch it. Why? Because I, you know, knew it was illegal, and I wanted a career in the military or, you know, government, law enforcement. So that's what deterred me primarily. It wasn't some huge moral consideration. And if they are legalized, you know, of course it would still be illegal to sell to minors, and we would have draconian penalties for those who do. But would that save that kid, you know, who otherwise might be tempted to use drugs? So there's the two ways to go. I'm interested in finding out what you think, because it's going to affect your future, you know, more than mine. My future is pretty much sewn up here, but your future, you know. So, do you think Operation Engage is a wise expenditure of, you know, it's about $300 million. There's a lot of money that they're going to be spending on this thing, and then instead of hiring agents, you know. Is that a wise expenditure? And then secondly, are we even doing the right thing? Should we just legalize it and forget Operation Engage, forget enforcement? Or third, should we do the law enforcement, trying to save that percentage that we can save from the evils of drugs? So that's my little spiel. You know, let me know what you think. And but again, Operation Engage, you know, I don't have a lot of confidence in it. I think it's another boondoggle, another contested for the Golden Fleece Award, which Senator Proxmire, who's a senator from Wisconsin, used to give the Golden Fleece Award to the most wasteful government programs. Well, you know, this administration has a lot of wasteful programs. So that's my little talk, and I hope you have a good weekend. I'll have something over the weekend, but I hope you have a good weekend, and be safe.